The next section we're going to talk about is the hub section. This provides a high-level RPC framework over a persistent connection. This is recommended if you have different types of messages that you want to send. There's no need to specify the route for the hub as they are automatically accessible over a special URL like /signalr, which is configurable. So in other words, if you wanted a hub saying /superhub, you could do that. So the goals for this section are going to be for building a simple hub. One of the things we're going to do is create a class that derives from a hub. Then we're also going to script a client side to use this new class. Then we're going to script the server side to also use the new class. We're going to have specific methods for specific connections. Define group management in our hubs. We're going to have return types. And lastly, we're going to be detecting the connection status from our hub. Of the hub section, the first thing we're going to look at is client calling the server. This allows calling server-side methods from the client. And basically, kind of how this works is you have your user on the client side that makes a request to the server side, and then the server side hands back to the client side. Now the difference here is that from the client side, we are specifically calling a method that exists only on the server side. This is one of the powerful things of SignalR. Here's an example. We're instantiating the class of myHub, which is derived from the hub of SignalR, and essentially we just have a public method within it just saying send. So send what? It's go return a string. That's all it's doing. And this can be called from the client side. So let's look into Visual Studio and see how this is done. Now in Visual Studio, let's go ahead and open up our home controller again, and let's add a new action result. We'll call this public action result. And here we'll just simply call it hubs. And we'll do a return view. Okay. Right click on the view and say add view. And just let it default. If you use hubs, make sure you add an S on it because you don't want it to be confused with hub, which is the SignalR. Alright, so here we're going to do section scripts like before. Okay, and we're going to say script type equals text JavaScript. And so that's good there. Go ahead and save your home controller as well. Close that. And next thing we need to do for some housekeeping, since this is the first item out of the hubs, let's go into our master page here, and we will take over the contact link. We'll just call it hubs, and again hubs here. Oops. Hubs. Okay. Save and go ahead and close that. Okay, so now let us set up our server-side code first for hubs. So go back into Solution Explorer, right-click on the con folder and say Add Class. Okay, and I'm simply going to call this myhub.cs. Okay, and what I need to do is I'm going to say using SignalR.hubs. Oops, not hosting. Hubs. There we go. Okay. We need to derive this class from hub, the SignalR hub. Okay. Pretty straightforward. So now I want to write a simple method here. Let's say public void send, and our parameter is going to be message, and within that go do call add message. So we're going to say clients dot add message I'm going to go pass in the message parameter. Okay, just close that, and that's what we'll do right now. And what that is going to do is it's going to run the function, the client-side function called add message that we're about to build on all clients. So basically it's going to broadcast it, essentially. Okay, so that's all we have to do for my hub right now. Go back to your view page hubs. Now what we're going to do is we need to include our SignalR hubs. So we actually need to do script source equals SignalR hubs, type equals text JavaScript. Okay, so that is basically setting up our proxy, if you will. And now let's do a little jQuery document.ready, the shorthand version. So function. We'll go ahead and close that because we're going to get long here. And first thing we want to do is create our proxy on the fly. So proxy on the fly, and we can say var my hub equals connection dot my hub. Okay, I believe that's what I call it. Yeah, my hub right here. Okay, so that is going to create our proxy for the class of my hub. And now we need to set up our add message. So we're going to say my hub.add message. This is our function that we're going to allow SignalR to run from the back end. So we say function message. Gonna close that. And within it, we're going to say our object of messages that we're going to create here. Messages dot append li. So we're going to add a list object like we did in previous examples. We're just going to pass the message along, and we're going to close the list object. Okay, and before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's go ahead and create the HTML for this. And it's just like we did in the persistent connection. So we're going to make it input. Type is going to be text. The ID is going to be MSG for message. We're going to make another input, and this is going to be a button. And this is going to be our broadcast button. So ID equals broadcast. And the value is going to be broadcast as well. And lastly, we need an unordered list. ID equals messages. So we have some place to add all of our messages. Okay? Alright, so now back to our code. Why are you complaining? Function, oh. My bad. Alright. Okay, so we've defined our myhub.add message that we can call from the server side. Now we need to wire up our broadcast button. So we're going to say broadcast .click function. Go ahead and close it. Go within it, and we're going to say myhub.send, and we're going to send what? We're going to send our message text box, the value of it. Okay, so that's going to be what's going to be broadcast. Now that we have all that set up, we need to start our connection. So I'm just going to make a note of that. Okay, so now we go $connection.hub.start. So this should create pretty much the same thing we did over on the persistent connection example of the same, to call the server from the client side and get everything running. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit save. And let's try to run it and see what we get here. See if we got everything remembered. Okay, let's go to click on hubs, do a test, and nothing. Alright, let's hop back in the code and see what we missed. Okay, let's see here. Hub.start, my hub.send, my hub. Alright, let's look over here. Oh, I see what I did. I go put this all lowercase here. It's very sensitive about your case. So put that all lowercase, save. Okay, all looks good. Control F5. Close that window. Alright, click on hubs. Okay. Open Firebug, see what's going on. No issues. Test. Yay, there we go. Test 2. Alright, now we're cooking with grease. Alright, so this is an example of getting hubs running within SignalR. Okay? And this is an example of calling a server-side function via the hub and SignalR. That can be seen right here, where we're doing myhub.send, which is actually executing this method right here to push out this message, which inadvertently is calling back the client side of myhub.addMessage right here and doing all that. The next approach that we're going to look at is the server calling the client. This allows server-side code to execute events on the client side using the client's property. For instance, we have something on the server side, some code that's running with the SignalR, so it's already talking to the client side, and what we want to do is execute a event or a function on the client side from the server side. Traditionally, in the past, you'd actually have to register a client script or JavaScript on the fly from the server side to pull this off. With SignalR, you can actually explicitly call client-side functions from the server side by using the client's property. Here's an example. Here we have the myHub, which is being derived from the hub property, and we simply have a method of send like we did previously, but here there is no return. We are saying clients.addMessage and then passing the data in. And the addMessage is actually a client-side JavaScript function. So let's look into Visual Studio and see how you do this. In Visual Studio, go ahead and have your hubs.chtml view page open, and what we're going to do is create another client-side function. So we'll just call it myhub.showAlert equals function message. Go ahead and close this. This is going to be another example of calling a custom function from the server side. So messages, actually I don't want to append that. I just want to do an alert. Message. Okay. So now I'm going to go to our hub class and special server to client call. Clients dot show alert message. Alright, so click save and make sure my hubs is okay. Yep, it is. Hit save, and I'm going to Control F5, minimize Firebug, and click on hubs. I'm going to type in test broadcast. Now you can see in the background we still have our other round trip that it did where it added to the unordered list, and here is our new server to client call as well that did an alert just like we told it to. It says message, and it passed in the value of test. So this is just a quick example of showing a server to client call by using the hub, which is very, very easy to pull this off, and this will make it very easy to get involved in SignalR. I obviously recommend using the hubs over persistent connection just because it gives you a little more flexibility if you like working with JavaScript a lot. Definitely good things can come with this.